Alright, so I did my research project on the 1968 East LA student blowouts. I decided to do my research on the blowouts for a couple of reasons, but my biggest one kind of stems from my interest in it as an educator. I want to be a teacher, so the fact that the blowouts kind of started as a student-led movement, that really drew me into it. So let's get into a little historical context. Basically, California was the first state to desegregate their schools with Mendez v. Westminster in the 40s. And this was like a decade before Brown v. Board of Education, so California was really paving the way for equitable education in this country. Anyways, California schools suck ass. That's what you need to know about this. We're talking racist teachers, tracking, which is a system where they take students. It's like based off your grades and stuff. Mexican American students were kind of tracked. They were tracked away from the college route and kind of just forced into these really just shitty, industrious jobs that nobody wants to work. That's how it was. Mexican Americans, they face some of the highest dropout rates in the country. Like nearly half of all Mexican American students were dropping out of school, and it was just the schools were designed against them. Spanish-speaking students are being put in special ed classes because they do not have the resources to teach these students how to speak English. Like it's mind-boggling. It's truly mind-boggling. So all the while California schools are sucking, the Chicano movement is sweeping over the southwestern United States. It was talking about these issues that Mexican Americans were facing in this country: racism, gerrymandering, police brutality, income inequality. So the student movement emerges out of this new environment of activism surrounding the Mexican American community. They were inspired by leaders like Cesar Chavez, who formed the United Farm Workers Union, and they were also inspired by newspapers like La Raza, which was a Chicano newspaper and centered around the not just social issues but also Mexican American culture as a whole. It promoted that. So to give you the gist of the blowouts, March 1st through March 8th, 1968. Almost 20,000 high school students are walking out of their classrooms. They're fighting for better curriculum and just to end all of these racist practices within the school system. March 11th, the Educational Issues Coordinating Committee is formed, and this is like the body that is representing the students. They make this list of demands that they present to the school board on March 28th, and that effectively ends the blowouts. The leaders of the movement decided to call it off. Sal Castro, he was basically the head guy. He became the face of the movement. He was a teacher at Lincoln High School. He was one of the only Mexican American teachers there, so he really took an interest in his fellow Mexican Americans' success. He wanted to see them succeed. After the meeting with the school board, Castro calls off all the strikes. He says, okay, this is good. Hopefully we can start meeting with the school board and actually see some of these changes implemented. That does not happen. Basically, Castro and 12 other dudes are arrested and indicted on these felony conspiracy charges, and they're facing like 66 years in prison. It's insane. A couple days go by after this, after their arrests. Their bail's paid off, but Castro is not allowed to return to his teaching position at Lincoln High School. And all this did was piss everybody off again, so it started another string of blowouts. Basically, June 2nd, from the day Castro was released all the way up till October 2nd, more protests, sit-in that went on for a while. It was nuts. But on October 2nd, the LA Board of Education finally agreed that they were going to hold a vote to reinstate Castro. But that's typically where the story ends, right there. But I wanted to focus my research on the long-lasting impacts the blowouts had on education. First of all, This idea of a bilingual education where students are learning English and another foreign language like Spanish or French did not exist prior to this. Not only did we get bilingual education, it's also the reason why we have Latin American history courses today and Latino and Chicano study programs at our universities. It showed that your identity is something to be celebrated. It shouldn't be erased. You shouldn't be put down for who you are. And that's what it was all about back then. Let's look at it today. Latin American students, Latino students are still facing the same issues they were. They still have the highest dropout rates out of all marginalized individuals in this country. Yeah, they're still underrepresented in higher learning institutes. So, what are the lessons to be learned from the blowouts? Well, for one, kids are crazy and they have the power to do some wild stuff. These were high school kids. High school kids. There was even instances of middle schoolers walking out also. So these are young kids standing up and fighting back, and they actually were able to do something about it.